welcome to Friday's story. This one is quite personal because it's for my mum. My mum has also had a miscarriage, so my mum had one just after I was born. So I have an older brother, and we've spoke about it a lot actually, especially like going through my one. She's really been there for me through mine, and we've spoken to each other about our experiences, and it's really nice to have someone in the family that understands how you're feeling. And she never makes me feel like, oh, she's talking about it again, she never makes me feel like that. She's always there for me the minute I'm upset, and she's such a big role model to me. Things were not easy for us in my family when I was a bit younger, and she's changed so much now. She's always been a great mum, she always has, but she's come on more leaps and bounds within herself. So she works as a mental health nurse, and she done her degree quite late. I think when I was younger, she ran like an after school club, so she done sort of childcare and things like that. But I think she done some nursing training as well. She had to stop because of health reasons, but she's come into her own later in life than I guess is the typical people coming into their own, I guess. I don't know, like she's blossomed the older she's got, and seeing her be so independent and so strong-headed, and she just gets on with it. I mean, she works nearly every day, and they're long hours, so she's really passionate about her work. She really cares about it, but I don't think that she realises how much she has influenced me and makes me feel strong, because she's my mum, but she's also like my best friend. Like if I end up in tears about something, I'll call her. She's there for me in an instant. She's the same with my brother. She's just a really loving mum, and she always worries about us, like any mum, she always worries. But when I told her I was doing this, you know, the Miscarriage Association funding and the videos, she instantly worried. It was just an instant like, okay, what are you going to say? Not worried if I was going to do anything wrong. I think she was worried that I would put myself out there and it might be received negatively, and worried what the outcome would be, me sharing something so public and so personal. But you know, I explained it to her and said exactly what it is, and then instantly she was like, oh, you can share mine then, and she wanted me to talk about her miscarriage. So I was sort of taken back, because I was surprised my mum wanted to be involved in it, and the same way I was surprised that my sister-in-law was so brave enough as well to give me hers and let me share that, which I've done. But now it's my mum's turn. So my mum had difficulties conceiving for a while. For I think it was about a year or something, she had difficulty conceiving, and she was just about to have IVF done. Now, when I say my mum had difficulty conceiving, I don't think it was... we're not sure if my mum had PCOS and if it's been handed down to me or what, really, because things weren't really as moved on medically back then as they are now. So I don't know if my mum would really remember much from it now. But she mentioned that obviously she was trying for a while, and then she had a scan. I think the scan was to see where she is for possible IVF. And then my brother was there. So she had my brother, but the whole way through that pregnancy, she bled the whole way through. And there were a lot of complications. My mum's epileptic as well, so she actually ended up sort of having fits, long fits, and she had to have blood transfusions. I think she had to have blood transfusions with me and not Adam, I'm not sure. But she went through, her pregnancies were not easy at all. And it drained her, it was physically draining, and she talks about that a lot, and about, you know, she loved being pregnant and having a baby, but when the labour happened, I think that's when it kicked in. Like she had a fit with my brother and with me, and with me, I know that she was separated from me for quite some time, until she was sort of okay to come round again. So it's not been easy for her at all. And she always wanted a big family. Whenever I talked to my mum about how I want a big family, she always said, oh, I wanted 4 as well. Like, because my ideal would probably be about 4. I'd love 4 kids. But even if I had one more, I'd be happy with that as well. Or even if I didn't, I've still got my 2 boys. So, but ideally, if I could choose, I would love to have 4 children. But we'll see what happens. But my mum was the same. She wanted 4 kids. So after me and Adam were born, she tried for her 3rd. And my mum and dad were together, obviously, at the time. And they were trying for, I think it was a little while. I know that the baby, had it been born, would have been the same age as my youngest cousin. So it's not that, I think it's about a year or 2 underneath me. But my mum and my auntie actually found out they were pregnant at the same time. And my mum remembers telling her on the bed and them both being really excited and talking about it. And I think my mum was 1 week ahead of my auntie or something like that. But they was very, very close. My mum carried on with the pregnancy, and then she started bleeding at about 9 weeks. And from then on it all sort of goes into a blur, but she was hospitalised because of her bleeding. She had a scan, and she said that the sonographer was quite blunt with her and was just like, there's a placenta, but we can't see like a fetus. There was just a placenta left. So my mum, I think, was a little bit sort of like, well, was there a baby, or is it just a placenta that grew and not the baby? But, due to her bleeding, I think that there definitely was, by the way she described her bleeding. It just seemed maybe she'd passed that before she was hospitalised. But she was in hospital for a night, and the doctor she had was really good, she said. It was just the sonographer that wasn't so great, but she said the doctors were really good. She was pretty devastated. I mean, she talks about it like, yeah, it happened and it was crap, but when we get in deep conversations about it, it really brings it out, because my mum actually named the baby the same. I named my one Luna, and my mum named hers Danielle. So she always thinks about her, and her due date would have been the 28th of September. And my due date for Luna was the 28th of August. So Friday just gone would have been her due date, and that's when I plan on getting this video out. But I've just been a bit busy. But yeah, so I know that day my mum was definitely thinking about her. She thinks about it every time it's the due date. I think sometimes she even sees maybe my youngest cousin and thinks, oh, my baby would be that age now, and that must be really hard, like her sister carried on a pregnancy and my mum didn't get to share it. Not only carry her baby and have her baby, but she didn't even get to share it with her sister, which would have been a really lovely thing as well. So yeah, my mum has come on leaps and bounds from then, and my dad as well. I know it affected him, and he was really supportive and tried to be there for my mum, and he was there for my mum. My mum says she remembers him being really, really supportive and understanding, and it affects men too. It's not just the woman, just because she's going through the physical side. It affects men too. My husband, I mean, he had a breakdown not long ago actually, and it was sort of very much out of the blue, and I was really taken back by it. I remember thinking, is there something else wrong? Well, I instantly thought there was something else, but there wasn't. He was just overwhelmed with it all, and this was just before our due date was coming up. I think he'd been bottling it up and looking after me so much that he'd forgotten to allow himself to be a bit sad. And he was a bit sad, but we're taking it step by step. My mum's the same. She doesn't forget, and I don't think anyone ever forgets. I think even when I'm 10 years from now, I'll be thinking like I would have like a 9-year-old, and it's something that you will carry forever really. But the best thing that you can do, I watched this really good documentary yesterday. It was about it was a BBC documentary. There was a guy on there from, what was it called, Union J, and he was talking about the loss of his sister. It's heartbreaking. You should watch it. It's on iPlayer. It's really good. It's good, but it's a good expression of grief. But he explained that it's like glitter, and no matter how much you try and clear it up, you will find it. You will find little bits of glitter when you lose somebody. And I guess it's different because obviously he lost a sibling and he grew with that sibling and had so many memories and all that, but grief takes all forms. My mum still grieves very much so for her dog that died. I think it was 2 years ago now. My mum had a dog called Jaja, and she was a lovely teddy bear, German Shepherd, and she actually grew up pretty much with my son. My son's 10 now, and we bought her, and my son was 2. And they were very close, and my little boy, he took that very hard. But my mum, it's like she's grieving for her baby, like she was her baby. So the best thing that you can do, I think, with grief is just talk about them. Don't be afraid to talk about it. My mum will say, oh yeah, it was Danielle's day, and I think of that, and I think about I would have had a little sister. Like, how lovely would that have been? I would have loved a little sister. My brother would as well, but oh, he's got me, I guess, but he would have loved, you know, a younger sibling would have been nice. And you know, you just want what your mum, what you want your mum to be happy and stuff like that. And she is. I mean, they carried on for a while after Danielle, but nothing really came. My mum, as I'm aware, didn't fall pregnant again. Whether that be PCOS or what, we're not sure, but it just didn't happen for her. But she's content and happy with obviously me and my brother, and she's sort of living her life now that we're a bit grown up, and it's nice to see her sort of enjoy herself and relax a bit more. We go on holidays together every year, so we're very close. But yeah, that's it really. That was my mum's story, and I'm going to pop some lovely photos on the end because she's so beautiful. And I'm going to pop some on of Jaja as well, who was my mum's dog, who we loved. But grief, you know, it's crap. But the best thing that you can do is just let it out. You know, you just got to ride the wave, because eventually, it'll be calm again. You just have to go with it, and then you'll be fine. Don't bottle it up. But thanks you for reaching 12 minutes in my video, 12 minutes 31, 32. And that's it, I think, at the moment for my Friday stories. I haven't had any more come in. If I do get any more come in, I'll do some more. But thanks very much, and love you, Mum.